The other thing that there is shame to be talked about is on federal prosecutors. I have been talking on my own channel for years now about consequence for Donald Trump. In the wake of the attempted overthrow of the United States government, the insurrection, the failed coup attempt by way of overturning a free and fair election. They could prosecute that. They could have prosecuted obstruction of justice, the multiple cases of obstruction of justice outlined in the Mueller report. They didn't. And in this case, they could have prosecuted the hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels. But instead, prosecutors, and I'm going to read a little bit from this, instead prosecutors thought, oh, well, this will seem small in comparison to all of the insane treason and other crimes of Donald Trump. We're just not going to bring this. And this is a problem. Justice should be met. Justice should be served, no matter if you think it's a small matter and something else will come along. Can't pass the buck to someone else when you have a prosecutable crime before you. Reading from the CNN article, federal prosecutors discuss charging Trump in Stormy Daniels' case when he left office, book says. Days before then President Donald Trump left the White House, federal prosecutors in New York discussed whether to potentially charge Trump with campaign finance crimes once he was out of office, according to a new book from senior CNN legal analyst Ellie Honig. Prosecutors from the Southern District of New York developed significant evidence against Trump when they charged his former attorney Michael Cohen in 2018 over a hush money scheme paying two women claiming affairs with Trump, including adult film star Stormy Daniels, Honig writes. But prosecutors did not consider charging Trump at the time because of long-standing Justice Department guidance that a sitting president cannot be indicted. I hope you caught that. I hope you caught that one line in there, that they developed significant evidence against Trump when they charged his former attorney and then eventually had a conviction for Michael Cohen. They had evidence, and they chose not to prosecute. This is a failure of the United States Justice Department. This is a failure of justice in general. It should be dispassionate. He committed a crime, you convict. You investigate, you prosecute, and you secure a conviction. I understand that the Office of Legal Counsel within the Department of Justice has a long-standing memo. This isn't law. This is an opinion within a division of the Department of Justice that says you can't charge a sitting president. That is nonsense. And many experts agree. Continuing with the article here, with Trump about to leave office in January 2021, however, Audrey Strauss, the acting U.S. attorney, held multiple discussions with a small group of prosecutors to discuss its evidence against Trump. They decided to not seek an indictment of Trump for several reasons, Honig writes, including the political ramifications and the fact that Trump's other scandals, such as efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and the January 6, 2021 insurrection, made the campaign finance violation seem somehow trivial and outdated by comparison. What? The crime was committed, was it not? You secured a conviction with someone involved with the crime. Why would you let Donald Trump off the hook? Is it laziness? What is it? It's malpractice, as far as I'm concerned. Continuing here, quote, we were well aware of the prudential reasons why you wouldn't charge a president even after he was out of office. While federal prosecutors in New York opted not to pursue their case against Donald Trump, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg appears to be looking into the matter again. Cohen met this month with prosecutors from his office, the first such meeting in more than a year, and the clearest sign to date that the Manhattan District Attorney is zeroing in on the Trump Organization's involvement in the hush money payments. So look, I have said this going back in the days after the insurrection, that we are going to have to rely upon journalists and people writing books for the investigatory work to be done because federal prosecutors, they're not up to it, in my estimation. Merrick Garland has sat on his hands under the guise of, well, we want to be thorough and slow-paced in our investigation, that we want to do this the right way and sober-minded. We don't need to drag our feet until Joe Biden isn't president anymore, and then the entire thing is scuttled. And here we have further evidence that they just decided not to prosecute because, there's bigger things. Republicans right now want to talk about a two-tiered justice system in the United States. Joe Biden's not being treated the same way as Donald Trump about the documents. None of that is true, but that's not what two-tiered is. They're both presidents. That's one tier. It's that if I committed the same crimes as Donald Trump, I'd be sitting my ass in a prison right now. But because he's rich, because he's an ex-president, because he has powerful connections, he gets a pass. And federal prosecutors gave him that pass. It's all too much. I'd love to know what you think. Let's mix it up in the comments and follow me. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jesse Dollemore, or follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. Thanks a lot for joining me today.